Let's go to the love list for pass catchers here, guys, and we show Matthew's top 10 wide receivers. And you see Chris Olave in the top 5, just because the Saints have had a tough season, although they've played a lot better lately. Olave's been on fire with Tyler Shuck, Matthew.
Yeah, over 17 fantasy points per game in Tyler Shuck's 7 starts this season with a 28% target share. And now you get a matchup that's so great against Tennessee. Titans have given up at least 15 fantasy points to a wide receiver in 7 straight games. They allow the highest catch rate to wide receivers. So you know somebody is going off against the Titans. And the best bet here, obviously, is Chris Olave, who gets a ton of looks from Tyler Shuck.
Moving on, guys, to Jauan Jennings. He's got the Bears. 15 points per game since Brock Purdy returned. We talked about Chase Brown with Burrow back. For Jauan Jennings, it's been his quarterback being back, where he's been a red zone monster as well.
Yeah, it's Brock Sember.
It is Brock Sember, although Brock, last time he played around Christmas, or a couple times ago, remember that Ravens game.
MVP race.
Still scars. I'm still scarred from that game, actually. I remember sitting there by myself on my couch watching Brock just completely implode against Mike McDonald's defense. Hopefully I don't get the same thing
What a
Week
wonderful
18.
Christmas memory for you.
Savage.
Sophia's got the kids in the other room, but you're just there by yourself.
Actually, I remember sitting there in the dark because I had a lot of money on Brock Purdy, like 50-1 to win MVP, and he got to minus 250. But then I bet a lot of money on the Ravens' money line as a kind of hedge for that position. And then Brock has 3 interceptions in the first half. The Ravens are only up 4, and Christian McCaffrey's going berserk. And I'm sitting there just alone on Christmas in a dark room being like, McCaffrey's going to win MVP. The Niners are going to win this game. Every single bet is going to lose.
Right.
But fortunately, my man Lamar Jackson turned it on, and the Ravens won. He won MVP. But anyway, Jauan Jennings
got Preston's that year.
Yeah,
there's,
Christmas was not canceled.
A couple things for Jauan Jennings. One, he didn't really ever seem to have the rapport with Mac Jones. 2, Mac Jones isn't as good as Brock Purdy, and so he wasn't getting the ball. And also, he was just like a MASH character for 2 months.
Broken
like,
ribs.
guy had everything wrong with him.
Yeah.
This is just a comical series of injuries, and now he's healthy. Purdy is healthy. Purdy looks the best that he has ever looked, frankly, off the toe injury. And it's a pretty favourable matchup against the Bears team that quietly, like everyone focuses on the Bears' heroics at the end of that game against the Packers. Packers moved the ball at will against the Bears that entire game, even without Jordan Love. So very favourable matchup for Jennings.
Since week 9, to your point, the Bears are allowing the 5th most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Excuse me. And, you think about how this 49ers offense looks, right? So good matchup at home against Chicago, so should be good weather. Kittle's got that ankle injury. We still don't know the status of him. Ricky Pearsall still limited. Sun comes up, sun comes down. Ricky Pearsall still limited. And so he has this connection with Purdy, especially in the red zone. He's scored in 5 of the last 6 games. So, I think Jauan Jennings, again, with the 6 teams having already played, I think he's a top 10 wide receiver this week.
Yeah, also, if Kittle does play and he hasn't practiced so far, he's not going to be 100%. I think pretty clearly, coming off a low to mid ankle sprain, whatever that means. But yeah, and Pearsall looks like he might be trending in the right direction. This is a huge game. Sunday Night Football, potential 1 seed on the line for the Niners. But yeah, Jauan Jennings is the pass catcher on San Francisco I feel best about.
As we move to tight ends, Harold Fannin Jr. against the Steelers, and this one maybe not as much about the matchup as it is about Shedeur Sanders being under center, because since Shedeur has taken over, Harold Fannin leads all tight ends with a 31% target share, Matthew.
It's unbelievable. And it's a great matchup against the Steelers, right? There's been 3 different tight ends to see at least a 20% target share against the Steelers. They've all scored 25 or more fantasy points. Tucker Kraft, Darren Waller, Hunter Henry. And then, in the first matchup against the Steelers, Fannin was tight end 7. Shedeur seems to only look his ways. They're using him in a bunch of different ways. Fannin is, especially they used him in the backfield, recently. And so with Quinshon Judkins off, he's injured, and they're going to try to figure out that offense. It does feel like Fannin's going to be the focal point of an important game for the Browns, who, if not, season hasn't gone their way, but they'd love to spoil things for the Steelers.
Absolutely. They're only 3-point dogs at home with a very AFC North and December-like total of 34.5.
Ryan Oswald chiming in here. Flex Fannin against a horrible tight end defense, or Devontae Smith against a top secondary. It is PPR.
I think I'd go Fannin. Here.
Yeah.
I mean, I just because Devontae, here's what I would say, Ryan. It depends what you need, floor or ceiling. Because if you need floor, Fannin's the answer.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, it could be a Saquon game, an A.J. Brown game, a Dallas Goedert game, Jalen Hurts runs 2 in. There are games where Devontae Smith just completely disappears, right? And the Bills are very good against wide receivers. So I actually think it's going to be a Saquon Hurts kind of game. But if you need upside, again, Devontae Smith can make your day with one play. They like to chuck it deep to him. They will. And so I think it just sort of depends on what you need. Because I do think if you told me one of these two guys has 25 points, then I would say it probably was Devontae Smith, right? But if you tell me, who's more likely, who do you feel better about getting 12 points? It's Fannin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Fannin has upside as well. Like, that crazy game against the Titans a couple of weeks ago too. So, yeah, I would just go Fannin.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving here, and we go to others receiving votes. Jakobi Meyers with that nice new extension in Jacksonville. He makes the list. He's been a go-to target for Trevor Lawrence. Jalen Waddle against the Bucs. DJ Moore against the Niners, and then another tight end in Hunter Henry, who can have a big day against a Jets defense that is not good against the tight end.
No, the Jets aren't, and you think about this offense. Kayshon Boutte is in the concussion protocol. Matt Collins has that abdomen injury. None of them have practiced this week, so could be a big Hunter Henry game, who is the 6th best tight end in fantasy since week 12. You see DJ Moore there as well. When he's seeing at least 6 targets, he's averaging over almost 18 fantasy points per game. You mentioned that over-under now 52.5. We expect the Niners to move the ball against the Bears, and so DJ Moore should be a big part of that offense. Jalen Waddle and Quinn Ewers' first start. I'm still not sold. I know everyone else is, but I'm still not sold.
Somebody has to stand up for this nonsense.
Somebody has to make that point.
It's the rail against Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, but Jalen Waddle did have a 31% target share in Ewers' first start. Wide receivers that have seen at least a 20% target share against the Bucs are averaging over 15 fantasy points per game. And then you mentioned Jakobi Meyers from Jay Croucher's Super Bowl favorite Jaguars. Over the last 5 games has a 25% target share. Decent matchup against your formerly formidable Colts.
Yeah, producer Stevens going to be insufferable if we're out there Super Bowl week in San Francisco and the Jags are in the Super Bowl stuff. I might wear was it Dion Lewis? Was he the guy who fumbled against Miles Jack in the AFC title game with the fumble that wasn't called?
Oh, I think that's right.
It was Dion Lewis.
Good call.
Whoever that Patriots player was, I'll be wearing that jersey all week.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I will say the Jaguars got screwed in that game. That was absolutely unbelievable.
Game was over.
Yeah.
We're up 10 and they just got a fumble. Anyway.
What watch Charlie? Full PPR, Michael Wilson or Jakobi Meyers?
I'm going to say Jakobi Meyers here. Again, Wilson, we like Wilson. Jacoby Brissett and Wilson came back down to earth a little bit. Marvin Harrison Jr. expected to play a little bit here. I think Wilson will actually be fine, but Jakobi Meyers, to me, is the start here. Since week 11, the Colts are giving up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers.
Yep. Sauce Gardner, I think, is going to be back, but
it's trending that way.
They still don't have a pass rush. He can't rush the passer too much, Sauce. So
no, and I mean, Jacoby can move around. They've done a good job of moving him around, and So.
Jags did whatever they wanted against the Colts through the air when they played a couple of weeks ago.
They've done whatever they wanted, it feels like, for weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they're red hot.
No reason to doubt the Jags.
If they move the ball that way against Denver, I think they'll be fine against Indy, especially in a game that's in the Dome. So no weather concerns there as well.
I'm done with Denver as completely like a lead unstoppable defense.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Olave almost marched them down the field. Like,
that narrative's out the door.
They're not in the same tier as the Texans or the Seahawks.
And we're not even sold Oladokin's the future.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think it's Mahomes.
I think he's got a chance of getting that job back. 48.5 is the over-under for that Jags-Colts game, by the way.
Stuntman Shuck, get Barry some Robitussin and a Diet Coke.
I've been on antibiotics. I don't know what happened. The last 3 days. Seriously. Yeah. I've tested negative for everything, and my voice was fine coming in here, and then...
You've been Jauan Jennings the past month. Just down.
No, I just can't get over
it. Yeah.
That's your flu game from Victor.
Again, that's what a lifetime of chicken tenders and diet soda does to a man.
It's hard to believe.
The vocal cords eventually give out. All right, let's go to the hate list here for pass catchers. Ladd McConkey is the name to know against Houston. Jay, Ladd McConkey has 5 straight games under 45 receiving yards.
Yeah, I think this is mostly a product of just Justin Herbert being constantly under siege. And I think also the game that he had against Dallas, which was awesome, that's more a reflection of Dallas' secondary as opposed to the passes, the Chargers figuring anything out in the pass game. Your man Josh Johnson was able to do largely what he wanted for stretches against the Cowboys. So Ladd McConkey against the Houston team that, I mean, we saw this matchup in the playoffs last year. Herbert had no time. He was under siege. McConkey actually had a great game in that one, but that was largely because of one long play. So Ladd McConkey, you can probably do better tomorrow. 39.5 is the over-under this game. We're not expecting a ton of points here. And while if I had to start a Chargers pass catcher, McConkey is the guy. But again, we've seen whether it's QJ or Keenan Allen or Rondé Gadsden, I think they're going to try to run a decent amount.
my ride or die, or Omarion Hampton. And so I have McConkey outside my top 20, again, already with 6 teams having played.
Yeah, I don't really understand why the Chargers are 1.5, almost 2-point favorites in this game, given that it is arguably the worst offensive line in football going up against arguably the best pass rush in football.
I was a little surprised.
Yeah, and also the Texans, I understand the teams have changed over the past 12 months. The Texans completely decimated them in that playoff game because of that matchup.
Yeah. I mean,
fluky line.
Yeah.
Weird line.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.